Second story of the day is Philadelphia went completely insane. I'm reading some NBC headlines. Let's see. Violence tears through West Philly. West Philadelphia, born and raised on a playground where everybody just attacks police when somebody goes at the police with a knife. Song doesn't have as much ring as the original Fresh Prince, but they're going to have, I guess this was West Philadelphia. West Philadelphia, after police shoot and kill a man, 30 officers hurt. So 30 officers were hurt. Angry crowds took to the streets. They stole stuff. They hurt police officers. A female police officer was run over by a pickup truck. Her leg was broken. So there's woman police officers getting nearly killed. People just going absolutely insane. And the reason was because I guess somebody had the police called on them. And the police showed up, and the guy had a big knife, and he was walking towards a police officer with the knife, and there's multiple witnesses to corroborate the story. He's walking at the police, and they said, drop the knife, drop the knife. He didn't drop the knife. He got shot. Anybody with a brain, doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're white, doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, anybody with a brain should know, I'm not Mr. Black Lives Matter over here. I mean, Blue Lives Matter, excuse me. I'm neither, but I'm not Blue Lives Matter, but you idiots keep doing this. I'm gonna love Blue Lives so much, you're gonna see a Smurf collection behind me, okay? I'm gonna have all these Smurfs that say Blue Lives Matter if you guys keep it up. And I don't even like the police like that. But it's like, at what point, why would you think that walking at a knife with a police officer is a good idea? It's a stupid idea, but this is what it's called when you have billionaires and a bunch of these elites and television companies and the NBA spending billions of dollars in ad revenue to tell people, this is what you should do. This is how you should act. You shouldn't, get your mind straight. You shouldn't stop killing each other. All the hip hop community that I'm a part of, but not really. A lot of the topic of what they tell people to do is do drugs, sell drugs, and kill each other. And then you do that, you end up dead or in jail, and none of them seem to care. They just blame Trump. They don't tell you to act right. They don't tell you to raise a family. They don't tell you to try to stay together and raise your kids, which is, on both sides of the aisle, I think people realize is a huge problem in some of these communities. They just say, oh no, it's a good idea to just destroy your own community and steal stuff every time the police kill somebody for resisting arrest. I mean, whether it's George Floyd, whether it's Jacob Blake, or whether it's this one, which is probably more obvious than all of them, they all have something in common. Resisting arrest, okay? Once the body cam footage of George Floyd came out, I was sympathetic to that. I was like, what's that officer doing? That's insane. Why was he doing that? I was like everybody else. Then I watched the body cam footage and I'm like, oh, this guy was higher than anybody I've ever seen in my life. He said he couldn't breathe before. He wouldn't sit in the police thing. He asked to lay on the floor. It's like, just don't do that and nothing's going to happen. Jacob Blake, it's like, don't resist arrest and then don't go to your car and open the door. You're going to get shot. Key and Peele actually have a skit about that, and then people like that turn around and say, oh, I can't believe it. And it's like, just don't walk at a police officer with a knife. I don't even like the police, but I'd rather live in a sleeping bag outside a police station than in West Philadelphia. I'm just being honest. I don't want to live around people that think it's normal to murder at a high rate and also walk at police officers with a knife, and then when it doesn't work out, then they just destroy their own community. If my best friend walked at a police officer with a knife and got shot, my best friend, I'd be like, I lost my best friend. I love him. But he's an idiot. So you wouldn't even see me out there protesting and rioting, because it's not the police officer's fault that my friend walked at him with a knife. It's my friend's fault for walking at a police officer with a knife. It's the same thing as jumping off a mountain with no parachute. It's like, yeah, I don't want my friend to die, but these are ways you can kill yourself. You could jump off a mountain without a parachute and you could live. You could, swim out into the sea and maybe you'll survive like Elian Gonzalez. If you guys remember that from the 90s, that's a throwback. But most people know that's a death sentence. So is walking at a cop with a police officer, resisting arrest, and going back to your car and grabbing the door. That's how you get murdered. That's how you die. Everyone knows that, but these people have trained and programmed and brainwashed most of your kids in high school and college and through, media. And a lot of the people in these communities like West Philadelphia to think this is normal. They shouldn't get their act together. They shouldn't, drop the crime rate. They shouldn't realize that even though if there's poverty in your area, it doesn't mean you have to sabotage your own neighbors. That's not what happens in other poor communities. I'm sorry, it's just true. I know, because I've lived in one. They just say, you know what, every time the police kill somebody for doing something stupid, why don't you just do something even more stupid? And the logic behind it is mind-boggling, really. It's like they're trying to protest the fact these are not criminals. We're innocent. Nobody's committing crimes, which is not true, but okay. It's like, yeah, okay, nobody's committing crimes. Everything's the police fault. So they're trying to convince America, we're innocent, the police are guilty, so to show you that we're not committing crimes, we're going to commit a bunch of crimes and attack police officers to prove to you that we're not attacking police officers. We're going to show America that we're not violent by being violent. We're going to show them that we're not thieves by being thieves. We're going to show them that we're not criminals by committing crime. And we're going to show them that the police are the problem by running over a female police and almost killing her. Because that's going to tell America that Black Lives Matter. I mean, this is such a joke. It's a coalition of really stupid people who just want to, go insane and commit crimes. High-level billionaires who are orchestrating people like this and using them as useful idiots for their Marxist revolution in this country. Corporations who just make billions of dollars with these out-of-touch theories of, wearing slogans on their shirt to push their political agenda so Joe Biden and Kamala win. And it's just like the coalition of the dumbest, fakest, and most backwards people in the country, from top of the pyramid to bottom of the pyramid, just committing or creating complete chaos and complete, commo, anarchy or whatever, to the point where it's like, basic common sense, real justice, real truth has no place in their minds, has no place in their political movement, and it has no place in their hearts. It's just like, let's just wait for somebody to resist arrest and walk at a cop with a knife. And then when that happens, we're going to commit a bunch of crimes and destroy our community to show people that we're not committing crimes. It's like, who believes this stuff anymore? Okay, I was on the side of George Floyd a few months ago. I thought that the police officer did something wrong. It looked like that to me, but I'm no expert. I saw the body cam footage. It did change the story, but it's still a little iffy. At this point, I don't even like the police. I've had bad situations with the police. I've been targeted falsely by the police. I've gotten fake tickets from a police officer that I didn't even do anything wrong, and I was guilty in court because they wouldn't overturn it. I don't even like the police, but at this point, I would rather live in a box outside a police station than to live in West Philadelphia or where I used to live in Los Angeles. I don't want to live anywhere around anybody that self-sabotages their own community, that doesn't understand that walking at a police officer with a knife is a death sentence, that thinks it's cool and woke to destroy coffee shops, Thai restaurants, sneaker stores, small businesses. Every single time you get upset about a police situation, whether it's right or wrong, I would rather live in a box or a sleeping bag outside a police station than ever live in one of these communities. This is how degenerate these people are, and they're going to sit and turn around like it's everybody else's fault. They're driving down the value. They're destroying any generational wealth or systemic opportunities that their kids would have. They're driving people in droves out of the city. They're driving businesses out of the city in droves. The only ones who profit off stuff like this are, the NBA and Amazon, because they're such big brands. They don't actually have to live in these communities, and now they're even backpedaling. They're like, whoa, we're losing money. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nobody on the streets actually benefits from this. This does not help black people. This doesn't help black lives, black wealth, black communities, none of it. It's a total scam. It's a total sham. It's teaching people exactly what they want. Don't have self-accountability, don't have self-awareness, which they've been driving for the last 50, 60 years in Marxist circles. They want to separate the man from the women. It's not women's empowerment. They tell you, oh, women. This is women's empowerment to them. Now you could be a female police officer and get run over by somebody because they're pissed off at what your other police officer did. That's their female empowerment. When really what they're trying to do is drive the man from the woman, the father from the daughter, the husband from the wife, drive a wedge between them so they grow up in communities where 80% of the kids don't have a father. And when you don't have a father, you're raised by government school, crappy music and crappy entertainment, which brainwashes you. The mom is vulnerable. The dad is nowhere to be found. The mom is incentivized now financially to not get back with the guy because the more money you have, or the less people you have around, or the more kids you have without a father, the more money you get from the government. That's why they call the trap a trap, because it's a financial trap where if you actually do the right things, the Democratic Party hates you, the media turns against you, and you lose your government funding. This is all part of their plan. Feminism, radical, we're empowering the women. No, they're driving the women insane, so they vote for the party that are destroying neighborhoods like Philadelphia who have no solution for it, but then they all turn around and tell you that they're helping you and they're helping your people by inspiring you to destroy your own stuff, your own stores, your own community, your own neighborhood. Every single time somebody in your community, 99% of the people there didn't know, walks at a police officer with a knife. I mean, I'm sympathetic to police officers who mess up, but as somebody who's never liked the police, and then I'm going to move on and answer questions, I've never liked the police in my life. I've never trusted them. I've always been rebellious. I've never liked them. They must be doing a better job than I thought they were doing as somebody who doesn't even trust them, because every single media race narrative that the media brings up is not even right. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Jacob Blake, and this one, although it's controversial, you could have a different stance than me. If you really follow the thing, it's like, just don't be an idiot and nothing's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Don't commit crimes, don't resist arrest, and for the most part, you'll be fine. And I understand there's other takes you could have on it, but to me, when there's 300 million people and millions of police running around, I would think that people made mistakes more. The police must be doing a better job than I thought if your idea of rebelling against them is burning your own city down when somebody walks at a police officer with a knife. I don't care how poor people are. I don't care how hood you are or how gangster you think you are. I'm not trying to like out people, but it's like I have friends that are in gangs and stuff, and even they're smart enough to know, like, yeah, don't walk at a police officer with a knife. Like, it doesn't, it's like an IQ problem. It's not even like a poverty problem or a gang problem. Most gang members are smart enough to not do that. So it's like no one that wants to live, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're in a gang, whether you work for a church, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're Asian, anybody that wants to live is not going to walk at a police officer with a knife. That's just basic common sense. That's basic survival Darwinism tactics. But this is not what the Democratic Party wants. This is not what the media wants. And apparently this is part and parcel of living in a liberal city. You have to just brace every single time this happens, because there's going to be a huge backlash and terrorism against your community. I heard that they're boarding up houses in Beverly Hills now. It's like you live in a third world hellhole war zone. Literally, that's what it is. You got to board up your stuff every time something happens. And stuff happens all the time, so you just got to board your stuff up all the time. This is why I left Los Angeles. Best decision of my life. I'd rather, as somebody who's never liked the police, never trusted them, still don't really trust them, I'd rather live in a sleeping bag outside a police station than where I used to live in Los Angeles or West Philadelphia. To live like I'm in a war zone in a third world country where I have to brace myself to get all the stuff in my neighborhood destroyed every single time somebody reads a headline wrong or decides they're upset over somebody who walked at a police officer with a knife. I mean, give me a break, folks. If this is the America you want to live in, then I guess vote for the Democratic Party. If you have any remnants of a brain or common sense or an IQ level, I think at this point you understand which political party is ready to pretend to stand up against this stuff and which one's supporting it. I mean, this is like the biggest mockery I've ever seen in my life. So this is like part and parcel until we get real leadership in these cities. But they keep voting for people who support this. So to me, you won't, no offense, I always like New York City better than Philadelphia, I'm not going to lie. But I've gone to Philly, I've gone to shows out there. I have friends out there, I've stayed out there. You won't catch me living in a liberal city anymore. And it's not because I'm afraid, I'm not scared. It's just like quality of life is just going down the drains. Any pro that Philly or New York City or Los Angeles had or San Francisco, it's all going down the drain. Democrats and liberals have gone completely insane, and they have no ounce of safety, security, management, city management, forest management. They can't do anything right. Why would I want to spend my life living around these people? And it's bad enough that they're already destroying the rest of my life. Here, I'll bring up a picture and a video, and then we're really going to move on. I'm going to answer questions. This is the future that they want you guys to live in. And I'm not showing you gruesome pictures of like of Philly. It's like you could look at pictures of that, but this is the future if Joe Biden wins. Look. Circle. Is that normal to you guys? To me, this looks like a techno slave state where it's like this is like every sci-fi movie I've ever watched. It's like shut the country down, destroy freedom, and just put you in a circle like you're some sort of technological slave. You sit in this circle, you sit in this circle, you sit in this circle, and then we'll get Uber Eats and Amazon, and we're going to get some robot to deliver our food. I mean, this is the Joe Biden future. Everybody's sitting in a circle. While Sweden and Wuhan, they don't have these type of limits, and they're free, and they're having better results than us. Who votes for this stuff? Like, it's like, I watch the television, and I...
Why they pin you as a victim? Yeah, so you always stay dependent. Yeah, then they tell you they gon' raise the taxes, help you out with everything you give them. Yeah, the homeless getting bigger. Yeah, Sell some weapons out in Yemen. Yeah, I ain't getting into all the specifics, but you best believe I ain't tripping.